Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and
And I'm your hostess.
I didn't get to interview you. I was going to introduce you as like the Skywalker Wrangler or something like that.
No,
No,
no, I'm the hostess with
the
the mostest.
hostess with the mostest.
There you go.
Okay, I'll go with that. So anyway, we are in the middle of NCAA finals, and I know you don't care, but South Carolina is playing today at 3 o'clock against UConn. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Oh, and it's what time now? Oh my God, we got to make this quick. Snap, snap.
It's like 1:14. I mean, I can edit while we're
Chop,
doing the
chop.
thing.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's
we're
all
not doing
good.
anything. You'll be watching that game.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, I have a belief that if like Don Staley has come out and said that she is going to retire as the Gamecocks head coach. And I would like that idea. I think that's awesome. I think that it's really cool that she's going to keep coaching there until she retires. And one day they'll rename the whole place Don Staley Arena or something like that, just like they did for Pat Summit. She's kind of doing the same thing that the legends have done for college basketball. I mean, think about how much attention is being drawn to South Carolina just because she keeps putting on a clinic of how to win. I know.
There's that, but they're also playing.
UConn,
Yeah,
who also has a head coach who has done a dominant session of God, how many championships does he have? Like 12 or something like that? Anyway,
they have a male head coach.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Gino.
Okay.
He's amazing.
I did not know that. Of course, now don't get me wrong, I don't follow basketball, but I do know that UConn has the player.
Yeah, Paige Becker.
There you go. She's a blonde.
Yep.
And she is phenomenal.
She had 40 points in the game you and I watched together. And
I watched at it.
She went off the other night, and I don't know how many points she had, but in dominant fashion, they destroyed their opponent.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either side.
No. Both of them pretty much made the last game look like you don't belong in the same arena with us. But this game, I think, is going to be a lot tighter, and it's going to be fun to watch because both of them deserve to be here at the final game, which is really what you want. I mean, even the men's games, like I was watching a little bit of the men's games, and we're down to Florida versus Houston. Yeah, Houston was losing to Duke last night, and then they came back and won. And I was like, goodness gracious, I don't know that I've watched Houston play this year, but man, they were impressive last night. And the game that they're going to play together against each other is going to be pretty amazing. And
that's don't get me wrong, I don't follow it, but I was at Cheryl. I was at Cheryl and Phil's house for the weekend, and I heard him say this morning that game is not, or maybe we were watching the news, the Good Morning America news. That game's tomorrow.
Yeah, because they have to have a game off, a day off in between because they're so spent from playing the previous game.
Yeah, those games
they have to stagger the games. Which I'm like you, I would like for them to kind of do it same day, but then also you don't want to like overshadow one team to watch the other team. You don't want especially if the women's game is early, you don't want them to be like, yeah, and now quickly get out of the arena because we're going to have the guys. I mean, like, enjoy the day, have the thing.
Now, do they play the Final Four in the same town, girls?
Yes.
Men and women?
Oh, that's a good question. I think so. I think they're all in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question. That's a Google.
I did not. I don't think that the Sweet 16 for men and women college, excuse me, was played in the same city.
That's an interesting question.
But now the Final Four for men and women is it played in the same city?
Yeah.
Because if it's not played in the same city, you ain't got to worry about emptying out an arena. But anyway, it's basketball. I've never been one to follow basketball at all. And of course, I don't think you were until just recently. You never really followed it until Caitlin Clark, maybe? Until she started doing so well.
Oh, it says here that the men's is actually in San Antonio this year, and the women's is in Tampa. Okay, so it is a different city. Holy cow. Okay. I would assume they were in the same city. That's crazy.
I don't
Maybe
know.
That's so they can have the whole weekend devoted to the fans and
I have no idea.
Book out the arena. Plus they probably have to like decorate things like the floor with logos and such.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or just a way to sell more advertising, which is probably the real answer.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the dollars. Yeah. If you're bringing people and that's what basketball is. I mean, for a lot of people, it's just entertainment. Like people get so involved in their team and they get really passionate about it to the point that they want to like throw hands. And it's like, what are you doing? Like those people don't know you. I mean, thank you for your fandom, but also calm down. It's entertainment. So yeah.
Okay. Basketball.
Moving on.
Yep, most definitely, because that'll be over with. What today will be the
Today,
end of the
the
women's, and
women's.
tomorrow will be the end of the men's
Yep.
college.
And then we have what to look forward to? Easter.
Easter's coming up in a couple
Easter.
weeks.
Not about the bunny rabbits as much as people think. But yeah, so Easter is right around the corner. You recently went to Wilmington on a trip,
Yeah,
and
yesterday
you were telling
morning.
me you went to see a not only a play, but also y'all did some visiting
Actually,
downtown.
yes, we did not know. We had planned this trip back in January. No, actually, we planned this trip back in December because we had tickets to see Mary Poppins in Wilmington last night, and we decided that we would go spend the day in Wilmington, just doing some browsing around. I had done some reading about the Wilmington area. I had been to Wilmington before, but it's been a really long time. It probably had been close to 30 years, if not longer. And our friend that moved up to the North Carolina area lives probably a good, maybe 40 minutes from Wilmington. So we decided that we would do the play in Wilmington and we would spend the day. Did not know until yesterday morning. Lori and I left here yesterday morning going to Cheryl's house to pick her up to go to Wilmington. The Azalea Festival was in Wilmington. It was this weekend. I want to say it was Friday, Saturday, and today.
They even have a website for it.
The Azalea Festival.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I have been to many festivals throughout my years because everybody knows that the Southeast they're famous for their festivals, whether it's pecans, blueberries, grits, tobacco, sweet potato, you name it.
Watermelon.
They have every kind of festival that you can think of. I have never been to a town where the festival was as big as this one. And it was awesome. It was multiple streets of the downtown.
It's like 10 blocks.
Yes. Yes. Very, very, very large.
Wow.
And it was vendor after vendor of all kinds of people selling their wares. There was one street that must have been set aside for all of the food vendors.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Of course, yesterday was the most gorgeous weather day that we could have asked for in Wilmington. It was beautiful. It was sunny. The wind was blowing enough that you didn't get sweaty. Really nice. And there was a lot of people. I mean, but everybody seemed to be having a good time. Everybody was spending money at the vendors booths. They had a beer garden set up with live bands. It was really, really nice. I would love to go. And we only spent a couple of hours just browsing around.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. I told Cheryl that I would have no problem at all making that a yearly thing that we get together and do, because they live close enough that we can stay with them. I could see where hotel rooms would be an issue because they probably go up a lot in price. There was a lot of people that we just heard chatter in and around people we were walking by that were actually, they come into town from different states for this festival.
And there was a boxing competition.
I don't know. There was
a volleyball tournament, a golf tournament, a mini golf tournament. There was a thing about a coin show there too.
They had stands, aluminum stands set up in places for the parade. They had a parade that morning. And apparently the parade must be very, very large because they had stands set up in front of businesses for spectators to sit in.
Oh, and they also had the Disney's Mary Poppins listed as one of their events.
Well, that's because
which is originally why you went there.
Right.
Yeah.
Had no idea it was the Azalea Festival. That actually turned out to be part of the best part of the day was being able to be outside and enjoy the festival. I would definitely go to that hands down again.
Very cool.
It was great.
Plus the weather was really perfect this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't hot. I mean, it was sunny, but it wasn't like hot.
Oh, there was a great breeze blowing. And this is all this actually incorporates the riverfront area. Yeah. And I had been years ago. There's like a battleship there that you can, or an aircraft carrier that's like a museum. I've been to that before.
Yep.
That is all still there, but they have really developed the Riverwalk area a lot. And if you Google things to do in Wilmington, the Riverwalk is the first thing that comes up, and it is really beautiful. It is a nice, it's a nice path route to walk, and right there on the river. They've done a really good job of the upkeep of that and investing a lot of money in how all that looks with the fountains and everything. So, so pretty.
Yeah, there's a thing on here that talks about a fountain tour as well.
Yes. We noticed yesterday that there was multiple tours going on. We actually did an escape room, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not an escape room fan.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Both of my friends are, and we were kind of like celebrating Lori's birthday, which was in January, because we had bought these tickets to this play. And her birthday, is during the time whenever it's extremely cold. It's hard to get outside and do a lot.
And she's an outdoorsy person.
Yeah. So we decided to kind of do some things on her birthday, but then we kind of delayed it a little bit, and we had that's what we were celebrating, was her birthday. And I know that her and Cheryl both love to do escape rooms. I've never been a fan. So I suggested that we do this, and we did not tell Lori until we were walking that way. And because we told her we were doing something at 2:15, and she was like, okay. And I was like, I'm not going to tell you what it is. So of course, as we were walking that way, we tell her, and she absolutely is, she's excited. She loves escape rooms. We got there. The name of the company was called Escape Games. I found it online. The reviews were fantastic. I mean, all the reviews were amazing. And I booked it for an hour, and it was just the three of us. We got there, checked in. You have a guide that kind of, I guess that person watches you on the camera while you're in the escape room.
Yeah.
They will give you hints. They will let you know, if you ask for hints, they'll give you hints. So I chose there's a storyline. This company actually has 6 different escape rooms, all with different themes. I chose one called Doggone, Doggone, Doggone. And it is your host greets you, gets you to sign the waivers, and then tells you that you are on a street in New York City, and Buddy, the golden retriever, is lost. And his owner is trying to find him.
Buddy.
But also the Humane Society, the dog catcher, is also hot on his trail. So you have 60 minutes to find Buddy using the clues that are in the room. Like I say, I went into it with the whole attitude of, take my money, I will sit in the corner and let me know if we get out or not in 60 minutes. Because I'm just not good at puzzles. Never have been.
Yeah.
I'm not a video game player. Never was. I mean, I'm just not a puzzle person.
But you notice things.
Well, in the past, I've only done 2 escape rooms previously. I've not done well.
Yeah.
Lori and Cheryl are both like, take charge, jump right in, both feet, figure out what's going on, and move, get out of my way. I got this. So I've kind of always took a step back on those anyway, because I just didn't care for them. This one, it was just the 3 of us. Before, when I've been in an escape room with them, it was more than 3 people.
Yeah.
So I had
Which can be overwhelming.
I had no choice but to step up and try to solve some of the puzzle. And I did. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was just a wingman. Although I did, like, hey, let me hold the flash. I mean, they put you in these dark rooms. You have to have flashlights a lot of times. So, but it was actually, when I walked out of it, we did not beat the clock, and I will say, we had exactly 60 minutes. It went down to the 60 minutes, but then we glanced up at the clock, and the girl had put 2 minutes on the clock. But when we finally solved it, we had 1.5 minutes left. So we solved it in 60 minutes and 30 seconds. And of course, when we opened the door, and Who Let the Dogs Out started playing. That's exactly the song that started playing. I think maybe Lori said, you put time on the clock. And the lady was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, I mean, I don't feel so bad that we did it in 60 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because I'd been
What was the name of it again?
It was, the name of the company is called Escape no, no, exit games. Exit games. They have two locations in Wilmington, and they have like three escape rooms in one location and three escape rooms in the other. And depending, you choose your game, your theme. You choose that prior to going into it. And I had made these reservations, so of course I chose it ahead of time. And it gives you a little scenario, like a little description of what the escape room theme is. And I chose the doggone. And the reason I chose that is because Lori and Cheryl both have dogs, fairly new. They've only within the last year, both of them have gotten dogs.
I just looked them up. They have a website.
Yeah, they have a great website.
TheEscapeGames.com, and it shows the 6 different rooms. One is Front Street Casino Heist, the Doggone Alley,
Doggone Alley,
White Rabbit Society, the Hidden Needle Tattoo Parlor Princess Location, the Hangover at Riddler State Princess Location, and the Outage No Vacancy Princess Location.
Yeah, and the reason you say there's 2 locations there. Yeah. We were actually at the Front Street location.
Yeah.
I had fun. I definitely had fun. I did not go into it with the attitude of, oh, I love these. I'm going to enjoy this. I was doing this because it's what my friends like to do. But I actually came out of this one having a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
And I have a theory that with less people involved in that kind of thing, you do have a chance to participate more.
Maybe.
It's a lot of people, it is overwhelming because everybody wants to be involved.
Everybody wants to, solve everything as quickly as possible. I've only done, like I say, 2 other ones. The first time, and you were actually involved in the first one, there was 6 of us in an escape room. That one, because I'd never done one before, I had no idea. I don't think I did anything worthwhile. Well,
and we also had a lot of drinks before we went there.
I think that
I don't remember a whole lot about it.
The second one I did with Cheryl and Lori.
I remember thinking, wow, Cheryl's really good at these.
Yes, Cheryl and Lori both are kick butt and take names when it comes to the escape rooms.
Yeah.
I did one down in Florida when we went out on a girls' trip, and there was another friend. There was 4 of us. And they were trying to decide, let's do something. What are we going to do? And they decided on an escape room. And I literally made the comment, just take my money and pat me on the head and let me sit in the corner. I mean, I'll be fine. Y'all want to do it? I'm outvoted. So let's go. Take my money. So we went and did it. And of course, we're at this thing. We get signed in. There's 4 of us, 4 women. And the guy takes us into the room and he's starting to tell us the theme of what's going to happen. And he said, I need to. And before he even finished the sentence, Lori and Cheryl both raised their hands really quickly. And he goes, okay, 2 volunteers. He finished it to go into the jail cell. So the 2 of them get into the into this jail cell, and he locks it. And he leaves me and Karen on the outside to figure out how to get them out. So I told him, I was like, see, that's what you get for speaking up so quickly. You didn't even let him finish the sentence, because I would have been the person that you needed to put in the jail cell.
Yeah. Well.
So I told them walking into this room,
listen before you raise
your hand, because you don't ever know what you're volunteering for.
I need 2 people. You're like, oh, crap.
Yes. But now looking back, whenever that we did, that was not the whole thing, was us getting them out. We had to get them out to keep going.
Yeah.
So the 2 of them were literally hanging out the jail cell, their arms, their heads, telling us on the outside what to do to get them out of the jail cell. So I was like,
almost like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're kept trying to coax the dog over with the key. No, come on, you can do it.
That's exactly the way they were.
There. Yeah.
But yes, I would, after the experience I had yesterday at an escape room, I would be a little bit more inclined to do another one the next time.
Or maybe it was the fact that this place actually did a really good job of theirs, whereas some of the places we've gone maybe have not been so great.
Yes, this one was not easy, and this one was considered moderate. There are like different levels. Mm-hmm. I did not by any means pick an intense one, because I knew going into this, when I booked this back weeks ago, that Cheryl and Lori were going to be the main 2. I wasn't going to do anything, but just kind of be there for moral support and cheerleading. But it was not easy. The 3 of us worked our butts off to get out of that room.
Well, cool.
Of course, I told work Friday before I left that I was doing an escape room, and I said if I don't show up on Monday, you know I didn't get out.
Yeah. Well, while you were enjoying the Wilmington downtown area, I got into a show that I've been telling everybody about as I'm watching it because I'm impressed by the storytelling of this show. It's called Pantheon, and it's an animated show. Um, it's just amazing. It's I've been telling everybody it's kind of like The Matrix, except for the fact of instead of the future being just about AI and artificial intelligence, this is about UI, which is considered uploaded intelligence. And it's the idea of, we are all going to die one day, but what if we could upload our consciousness to something and live on in this uploaded environment? And so it's this big, crazy, otherworldly kind of thing where this technology is taken off, and this young girl's dad is like immediately communicating with her even though he's passed away, and she follows the rabbit hole basically and comes across this global thing that's going on. And there's lots of really good characters that are playing the parts. William Hurt actually was reading for the head genius guy named Steven, who's a lot like Steve Jobs. He's like this guy who come up with this technology and stuff. And apparently he died just after they finished filming this stuff. So they have like an homage to him.
Who?
William Hurt.
Oh, honestly didn't know he'd passed away.
Yeah. So, but they do a big homage to him, and the story it's only 2 seasons worth, but the story that they tell, you realize pretty quickly that they weren't just making like an adult cartoon thing just because they were like, we got an idea, but let's just do it as a cartoon. The stuff that they show you in this is just like with the Spider-Verse. It can only be told with animation because there's so much just sci-fi next level type stuff to be told that there's no way you could tell it otherwise. I mean, I'm sure as a book, this is probably like people are reading it and going, holy cow, because they can tell you what everybody's thinking and feeling and everything else. But as a story, it's really impressive. So I've been telling everybody to go check it out. It was originally done on AMC. They only did 1 season to start with, and they had restructured their management team and then dropped the program, and then Amazon picked it up for a short time, and then they dropped it. And now Netflix has it, but they had 2 seasons and then they ended it, and I think that's perfect. So yeah, I watched that, and I also watched Moana 2, which is delightful, and I think you would enjoy it.
I have not watched it.
But
that's not. I don't watch a whole lot of anything on TV.
I'm a big softie, and I teared up a good bit watching it. It was pretty good.
But now I went to see Mary Poppins last night in Wilmington,
and
when we got there, this was I'm not even sure how to pronounce this theater. It's right downtown in the historic part. As a matter of fact, we looked it up. It was built in 1883. I think it's called Thal. It's THIALIAN Hall. I mean, it's where they do their performing arts, and very, very beautiful on the inside. Although when I first walked in the door, Cheryl and I both made a comment that it looked a lot like what was the name of the Ford Theater? Where remember going into Ford Theater where Lincoln
really small?
Actually, yeah, it wasn't very big at all.
Okay.
But it was it was absolutely beautiful. The way it was decorated and everything.
Thalian Hall.
Yeah.
Thalian. I don't know how you pronounce it.
It's not a really big performing arts building. Really pretty. You could the actual decor, not necessarily the decor, the architecture of the building is beautiful. And they did Mary Poppins. I'm not really sure what adaptation of Mary Poppins this was.
It says it was new songs and additional music and lyrics by Anthony Drew, George Stiles.
It was different.
It says it's based on the stories of Walt Disney and
yes. Now before the play actually started, they were playing all Disney music because I recognized Little Mermaid and Aladdin, different things like that. The most talented people. I mean, the people that were in this, there was a very big cast for this play.
Really?
Yes, for like the different scenes of
We got to have the family, right?
Right. Well, the family's only, two kids and the mom and dad, and then Mary Poppins.
We got the maids
You got Bert,
and Bert,
the chimney sweep. But do you remember in
the
the actual
bankers.
movie? Yes, they had like the full scale of all the bank, the people at the bank. They had the part where what was Dick Van Dyke played
Bert.
Bert, right?
Yeah.
In the original movie, where he does the actual scene where he does the chimney sweep and he does the song
With the dance.
Yes, they did all of that.
Yeah.
Very, very talented people.
Step in time, step in
Yes,
time.
they did that one, and they did what's the chimney?
Chimney.
Yeah, that one. They did that song. I mean, they did all of those kind of songs.
Yeah.
They did Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
You almost named it.
I know. They did that one. Spoonful of Sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the Feed the Birds.
Yeah, you gotta have the old woman for the Feed the Birds part too.
Which, of course, I don't know.
There's probably somebody else putting on another costume and coming back out as.
Oh yeah, woman. You could tell that there were certain people that play in multiple parts.
You have to,
but still, it was a very, very large cast.
Yeah,
but Feed the Birds was actually Walt Disney's favorite song.
Yes, it was.
What was the brothers' name? The brothers that
there was the Sherman Brothers.
The Sherman Brothers actually wrote several songs for Mary Poppins originally whenever Walt bought the rights to Mary Poppins. But yeah, this was a little different. I've seen Mary Poppins a couple of times at different theaters. We've seen it actually right here in Florence with local people, and they did an excellent job here in Florence. Remember the ending of the one here in Florence where Mary Poppins flew over the...
Yeah, I went to school with her. Her name's Rebecca.
Flew over the audience.
Yeah.
Well, in this play, Mary Poppins flew a lot.
Really?
But she was only on the stage.
Okay.
Yes, she entered the scene multiple times with, like flying in with the umbrella and landing on the stage. They did a good bit of that. So, I mean, you could tell this theater is a lot bigger than the Florence Theater, of course, and they had the capabilities to do more stuff like that. But it was very long. It started at 7:30, and we didn't get an intermission until it'd been like an hour and 10 minutes.
Did they do the magic bag where she kept pulling stuff out of?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. They had it.
Cool.
The carpet bag was sitting on a dresser.
Yeah.
And she kept pulling out she pulled out the hat, a coat rack.
Yeah, the magic bag.
Yeah, she pulled out the coat rack. She pulled multiple things out of the coat, out of her carpet bag. Yes.
I was trying to think of like practical things that you saw from the movie that they could really do, and that's probably one of them because they could have it hauled out and people hand stuff through.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed was the two children that were in it. They were very, very talented. Everybody in this that had singing parts, I mean, they were just incredible voices. The kids, extremely talented. There was a little girl that played Jane, and she had a powerful voice. I mean, everybody was mic'd, with the mics that like have the little plug in their ear and then they come around the front.
Yeah.
She was loud. I mean, she had such a loud voice that you could tell they had to tone her mic down when she would sing because she had such a strong voice. But there seemed to me like there was somebody in the cast that maybe had some issue with their sound because it would make a very disruptive type sound every now and then.
Oops.
Yeah. And then there was a little portion of the play where all the mics went out.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean, and they went with it. There was one scene, and
the show must go on.
Yes, exactly. There was one scene where they were in the bedroom and they were mistreating a toy, and they tear the arm. The two children are fussing over a toy. They tear the arm off of a toy, and Mary Poppins, because everybody knows Mary Poppins was magic. All the toys start coming out of a wardrobe in the play. All the life-size toys start coming out of a wardrobe. Well, she goes to throw the torn doll into the wardrobe and she can't get the door open. You can tell the door's stuck and she just keeps going with her lines and she like tosses the doll around the wardrobe to the backside. The audience picked up exactly what was going on, but then the lights kind of went down a little bit. And then as the music starts, all of these life-size toys start coming out of this wardrobe. And I guess they were able to fix the door because the amp.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, there must have been 12 people, 12 adults dressed as toys that came out of this wardrobe. So yeah, I mean, there had to have been at least
20 people.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say on the cast total, no, there had to have been at least 40.
Jeez.
Yes, it was a huge production. I can't imagine the people that are into this type of stuff. And we have a sister-in-law that teaches high school drama, and she also does plays all the time. Some of these people had so many lines, and I'm like, when we walked out of there, I was like, just the talent of people being able to work full time, have their families, and still commit to that many months of practices to learn all of these lines and music and be so daggone good at it.
Yeah. It's impressive.
And they changed the scenes. Now this theater had some great scenes, sets, and they changed those sets a lot. So yeah, I mean, you could tell there was some money behind the production.
Well, cool.
But a little different in the fact that it was, I guess, like an adaptation. So there was a couple things in there I was like, oh, I don't really remember this from the movie. So it's not like it followed it right along the lines.
Well, you got to have a little bit of artistic.
I guess, because I'm
whatever.
sure, why do you keep going to see the same play over and over?
Yeah.
If they do it again, you've got to change it up some.
Yeah. Plus, every now and then you come up with a good idea.
Yes. But
and
I would
you don't know unless you try stuff.
Right. And I mean, you don't have to like theater to participate in supporting your local arts.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't,
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's no different than watching something on TV.
Yeah. I mean, you do need to go and participate. I mean, if you're going to support them at all.
Well, I think more people should support them. It's not, you don't necessarily have to get people don't go in black tie and ball gowns to the local theaters to watch people do a play. We've done a lot right here in Florence, and I've seen way more good ones than I've seen be like, oh, that was okay.
Yeah.
Most of the time you walk out of there with just the appreciation of somebody being able to be that talented and put forth that effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I feel like we've done a lot on this one.
And we've got Easter coming up too. So
we do have Easter coming up. I don't have my basket ready.
I know. I've got to do that. We've got grandchildren. I've got to.
They'll have baskets.
They need chocolate bunnies from us.
My grandmother used to always give me a solid chocolate Easter bunny, and then it would take all year to eat it
because solid one.
A solid one, and then she'd chunk it off little pieces out of the freezer. And she goes, "Hey, let's have a little bit of the Easter bunny." And she'd break out.
She would ration out the Easter bunny all year.
She'd break it out and she'd have to hit it with a hammer to get pieces off of it. And she was like, "That way it lasts longer."
Do you have a favorite Easter candy? I don't like Peeps. No, I don't like Peeps.
I don't know that I have a favorite. I mean, it's really hard to go away from Reese's peanut butter cups, and they do
Robin eggs.
They do make the Reese's version of the eggs that are the egg shape.
I've heard a lot of people say I'm not a big. I can eat Reese's. I'm not a big fan.
I don't seek out Peeps, but I don't hate on Peeps like some people do. Some people are like anti-Peep.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm not anti-Peep. I mean, I do like a.
You're not anti-Peep.
I mean, it's practically my name. I mean, it's one letter away from being Peak, so it feels kind of dangerous to be like, I hate Peeps.
Yeah. I like the Robin eggs, which are basically Whoppers just painted different.
Milk Duds, yeah.
No, not Milk Duds.
Isn't a Milk Dud a Whopper?
No. A Milk Dud and a Whopper are two totally different things.
Not the Whopper, the burger, but Whopper, the
candy. A Whopper is the malted
balls.
What was it? Milk Dud is the caramel. It has caramel. It's really, really sticky on your teeth.
So what is a robin egg?
A robin egg is a Whopper. It's just pastel colors.
And shaped like a robin egg.
It's shaped more like an egg instead of a round ball. Yes.
I figured your answer would have been like Easter Nerds or something like that.
Yeah, I could eat those.
Yeah.
Do they make Easter Nerds?
Of course they do. They make everything nerds. Yeah. I'm glad you're back.
Yes. It's good to be home.
I wish I'd have done more while you were gone, but I did not. I sat around the house and
You did cut the grass Friday, but the
Just
first thing I noticed when I pulled up
weeds.
already.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
I just cut it.
Yeah. And we're supposed to get 90% chance of rain tomorrow.
Yes, there's a big storm coming across, and there's all sorts of people in the typical areas getting tornadoes
Oh my
today.
gosh, yes. I hope that those have died down by the time they
Arkansas,
get here.
Tennessee, Ohio, all those people.
I've seen some footage on TikTok that is just unreal.
Kentucky. Yeah.
And they said there's a lot of flooding because of the massive amounts of rain.
Yeah. Of course, one thing about living there is zero chance of shark attacks.
Well,
So,
there's zero
there's
chance of
that.
shark attacks in Florence. But
Yeah.
we are going to get some rain tomorrow. And then the weather's going to drop.
Well,
back
I'm
to
going
cooler.
north, and it's going to be cold where I'm going. Matter of fact, I saw one of the days the low is going to be 32.
Well, here it's supposed to
Bird.
be in the mid 60s one day.
Yeah,
Speaking
but that's
of
changing.
the blueberry farm up in
Yeah.
Ivanhoe, they're going to be on frost. They may have to water
Yeah.
one night, and they've made it this whole spring
Tuesday night.
without having to do any of the night protection from frost, and they may
Yep.
have to Tuesday night.
Tuesday night looks like it's going to be the
So
dip.
I'm praying that it don't get cold enough that they have to do that.
Yeah, I'm packing for a work trip, and I had to make sure I got some warm clothes because it's going to be chilly. Chilly.
But then I think the temperature is going to warm back up toward the end of the week.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'll be probably our last cold snap.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, we're good to go.
Everybody out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for paying us any attention whatsoever. We do appreciate it. I know that you got a busy schedule and there's lots of other fun things you could do. If you happen to be in the Wilmington area and you enjoyed the Azalea Festival, you want to send us some pictures or link them to the Facebook page, please do. And
oh yeah, I'll be back at that next year.
Yeah. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.